Hi there, welcome. I hope that you find this lesson a little bit helpful. I am going to try to explain to you how I use Explain Everything to flip or blend my classroom. This is Pilar Taylor and I am with North Broward Preparatory School. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter at PeelyTaylor333, and I also recommend that you follow Explain Everything at Explain Everything without the I on Twitter as well, so that you can get some insight on any of the things that they come out with as they get new features and things. Explain Everything has some amazing features, of which one is to insert videos into your actual presentation. So for example, if I was to show you this here, this is a video of a review that I did in a math class, and through the entire process, as you insert the video, you can speak over it, you can record through it if you need to, and you can also add additional features as well. So here you'll see, if I was to fast forward the video just to show you, this is an example of a presentation that I created on Explain Everything that I then had the opportunity to record over. So if you notice, you can see my pointer and I can zoom in and zoom out as well. So there's lots of different things that you can do with Explain Everything. This is just one example of how you can create a lesson through a template, and then you can record over it as well. Another feature that Explain Everything has is that you can actually instruct in real time. So you can create presentations and you can collaborate through the collaboration tool, if you have that available, where you can annotate and audio record and actually bring the class to life, even if the students are not present with you. You can record these videos and you can then have the students watch the videos at home. We also have the opportunity that students can be teachers. Students can actually get collaboration skills strengthened and their leadership skills strengthened through the use of Explain Everything. Students are able to share their own tutorials and their ways of explaining how to solve specific questions or problems, or how to work through some of the projects and things that you may have in your class. There's, like I mentioned before, the collaboration experience where you can actually share your screen with students so that they can record and they can also collaborate through your lesson or through one another's lessons as well. So I'm going to go through step by step how to create your own lessons using Explain Everything. So the first thing that we can do is through the Getting Started feature. I'm going to go through a little flow map to throw you step by step how we're going to go through this. When you are beginning your presentation, you can add pages, save, change the file name, access the library, colors, change colors, font, and you can create templates as well. The toolbar, which is on the left-hand side by default, it's all on the left-hand side, as you will see, can give you lots of different features. You can insert files, pictures, videos, or even web pages. You can record. There's a difference between overwriting and mixing. So mixing is recording over. You could put video within video. The premium feature has that collaboration as well. And you can definitely export to Google Drive or to YouTube or to any learning management system such as Canvas or Blackboard, or even as a PDF if you'd like to just download them as notes. So we're going to go through all of these features one by one. So as we begin, you're going to open up a new tab. So if you were to press the plus sign, you would see, first of all, your screen would look something like this when you add. And you can choose whether you want to add a new project, whether you want to collaborate with students or with other people, whether you want to join with a code, a collaboration, or whether you want to share your project that has been completed. So from the very beginning, if you're creating a brand new presentation or blended experience, what you would do is you would press the new project. Now with that, you can then choose either to open, and we move into the next step, which is this one here. You can choose whether you are going to open a blank canvas, which would mean just a plain white screen, whether you want to use one of the templates that have been provided, or if you want to insert any files such as documents, images, videos, or projects. So this is if you had your own pre-completed notes that you already had created, notes for the students, guided reading, guided notes, things like that, the presentations. You can insert, you'll notice that you can insert PowerPoint slides, movies, JPEGs, PDFs, almost anything really that you'd like to insert to begin with. When you insert the files, if you were to be inserting, let's say, a group of worksheets, let's say that they're 10 pages long, each slide would be 1 page if you chose that to be, or you can have it all in one as well. So I recommend that you explore that feature of adding files as you're beginning. Now, if you had already presentations completed, your library would be where it is all housed. So you could see for my own units, I have my pre-algebra and my algebra units all within there, and I could begin from those if I'd like to begin from a slide or from some sort of a basic notes that I've already created. So heading into the opening of a new unit, let's say that we are going to create a new template or a new file. We would create from our very beginning, you would press the plus sign here to create a new project. And what you would get would be a blank screen if you had chosen a blank screen. And it would probably look something like this. And from here, what you would choose to do might be to insert an existing image, a file, or maybe even clip art. Some of the clip art you could see here if you wanted to insert something there. You would notice that if you had chosen to click on the font, the text box would open up, and down you would be able to check and select the color and the font type. In selecting the font, you could even select the color and the fill, and you can even customize those colors as well. So you might want to type something, and then from that, clicking on the drag tool again and then selecting the text, you can increase the size. As I'm recording, you can twist it and turn it so that it looks like it's animated. You can do all sorts of things. Zoom in, zoom out. And from there you can select from the shapes. You can select things such as squares, circles, or any of these shapes here. You can explore with that toolbar so that you can see all of the different features that that has. You will also be able to change the color, the border, the fill of the shape that you'd like. So in this side here, if I had selected a star, clicking on these here will select the border of purple, for example, and the color of yellow, and select other colors depending on what it is that you choose. So you'll notice that you'll have an opportunity to choose these. And again, you can spin these, and this is done by making sure that you select the little pointer so that you can then, with your stylus or fingers, move it, and you notice that I kind of moved the back as well. So what I've done here is I took a screenshot of what the screen looked like when you opened up a new blank slide. And you will notice that the toolbar is right on the left-hand side, right here. You have the pointer, the pencil to draw. We have the highlighting feature right there, an eraser, labels, shapes, font, a screenshot, delete. Here's the pointers, and you can choose all the different kinds of pointers. And then the inspector tool. I am going to focus right now on the inspector tool because the inspector tool I have found is incredibly useful. So if you were to click on this eye right here, you would have a moving inspector window open up, as you will see here. Now you can move it out of the way. That was one thing that I actually had to discover the hard way, is when I would click on the inspector so that I could arrange, bring to front, send to back, group, ungroup, lock. I was under the impression that it was not movable, and it surely is. As long as you are selecting the pointer tool or the drag with that, then you can go ahead and move that out of the way so that you can go ahead and have that empty white space as necessary. This up here, if you're looking at the very top right hand side of your mirror, of your window, is the mirror view. So if you were to click on that, you would be able to decide whether you wanted to show the people who are reading it or looking at your presentation, whether you want them to have visibility of your toolbar or not. So for me right now, I have it so that you do not see my toolbar. So if I clicked on those three dots up top, you would notice that you would get this window pop up like that, and then you would click settings. And this window here is where you could choose whether you want the audience to see your your toolbar on the left hand side or not. So for example, I have my toolbar alignment on the left, control bar alignments on the bottom. I have it as a second screen as opposed to mirroring. I want to show you how it would look if I clicked on mirror. So that's the different view right there that you can see on that side. So the second screen just makes it so that only thing that you see is a white screen with everything on the background. So this is the way that I use it when I am presenting a lesson, so that my toolbar is not distracting to the person watching the video. Through that, that's all of the different settings that you can use. You have the ability to, if you notice here, insert files. You can insert pictures, video, browser, equations, and even audio. You can also insert existing image or video. So if you had a video on your iPad, you can insert the video itself and then record as the video is playing so that it is part of your own video. I use this often when I am showing the students how to use a calculator, demonstrating how to use a specific function of a calculator. So I will insert a video. I urge you also to look through the clip art. They have the cutest little clip arts as well that you can insert as well, and as existing audio if you have any in your iPad already. So there's lots of different things that you can do from this screen. Go ahead and play with it as much as you can so that you can see how great the videos and everything that you can insert in there actually ends up being when you record it. So how do we insert files and pictures, videos, and web pages? Let me show you, for example. So I am actually going to go ahead and select my settings to mirror my screen as I see it. So hopefully now you will be able to see my toolbar on the left-hand side. And on the settings, I have also selected to display on-screen taps and gestures, as you can see right here. And that is so that you can see where I am tapping, so that you can see what things I am selecting. So let's say that I am going to go ahead and insert a file. I would select the existing, or I could set a file that I have up in my Google Drive, but essentially I would start off by selecting this right here, which is the add existing image or video. Or if I wanted to select a file, I would select the file here. So I am going to go ahead and select file. And when I do so, you get a source to choose it from. So if I had within my Google Drive folder, I would select Google Drive. And once I select that, depending on where I am or where I have been within my Google Drive, it'll open up the last folder. So in this case, the last folder I had open was Unit 3 in my Google Drive. And let's say I'd like to select this specific study guide where I have the answers shown for students and I wanted to go over that. So I would select on that file, and you would get another choice. Do I want to insert all of these pages, the 6 pages of this study guide, as separate slides, or potentially I want to insert them horizontally, vertically, separate slides? I always select separate slides. What separate slides means is that it's going to insert each of these pages as a separate slide within your Explain Everything presentation. Now, you also have the choice, if you don't want all 6 pages, I might have only selected 3 pages, so you unselect the ones that you do not want to be inserted. I have chosen them to be inserted as separate slides. And as you will see, when I go down to the very bottom of my screen, down here, I've kind of made it large so that you could see it. When I go to the next page, you are going to see that the has been inserted. And so here is the first page. If I wanted to, I could zoom in on my PDF that I have inserted. If it was a blank screen, if it was empty and it did not have any of the work shown, I could have gone through and filled it in with the students or filled it in for the students. This is actually one of the things that I do to blend my classroom is I create notes and I put the notes in my video. I would go over specific things within the notes, and then I would upload the video to YouTube so that the students could watch and take notes at home. So if I scroll through these 3 pages, you're going to see that everything that I have inserted as a PDF has been placed inside of this presentation as separate slides. So the actual recording basics, just to give you some insight. There is a difference between the overwrite and the mix, so I want to go over that. This down here is the button that you would press to begin recording, and once you have recorded something, you get a little bit of a different screen, which I just screenshot so that you could see it, where if you click on this little arrow here, it's going to open up and you can rewind, fast forward, so you can move this back and forth as you wish. If you wanted to mix, what that is saying, mixing, is so that you can layer, sort of speaking. If you had a video that you had recorded and you wanted to record on top of it without losing it, you would mix your video. If you wanted to overwrite, so if you ended up making a mistake and you wanted to record on top of it, what you would do is you would click on that mix button and it would change to overwrite, and the overwrite would record on top of everything from that moment. So looking at the audio of your recording here, and again this is just a screenshot, the audio of your recording would be demonstrated and visible if you were to click on this little arrow here. That way it would show you the video as audio pretty much, and then you can rewind and fast forward, and you'll notice that there are tools up here that you can use as well. So definitely play around with that to see how that works. The video in video, you would select from the toolbar the add, and then you could put video. So if I selected that, you're going to see a video box pop up, and that's what the video would look like right there. From the moment you begin to record, down in your toolbar at the bottom, your video would start recording. So this is a great opportunity for if it's a science class and you want to show a lab, or if you were a math teacher and you wanted to show some of the math purposes of using a calculator. For example, if I wanted to teach students how to use a specific calculator, the fact that there's a fraction bar and you can actually create 2/3, and then you show them an operation with that. And then you would press the pause button and then easily move your video out of the way. So there's lots of different ways you can create videos within videos, or reasons to do so. Like I said, if you are math and science, it's pretty straightforward. If you are a theater teacher, or if you are in English or any sort of writing, you can definitely insert videos and have the students possibly do some formative assessments that way, where you can assess the students on knowledge of a specific subject if you're covering it, or if you want to flip your classroom, demonstrate how to do a lab, how to work with a calculator, how to act out a specific scene. So there's so many different opportunities with adding video within the video that you're recording. Another great feature that I want to make sure that you're aware of within recording, and again, this is a screenshot of it, but if you were to go down to the bottom of your screen as you're recording, I'm going to bring it up specifically so you could see it. As you're recording, you can actually mute. So if you wanted to demonstrate something, or you wanted to write something down where your voice was not heard necessarily, or maybe the background was not heard, you would definitely click on that mute button down at the bottom. And so as you're recording, it silences the audio, but it still records the keystroke. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to mute it. And now I unmuted it so that you could see it. And again, you can move the font or the writing out of the way and have blank screens as you are writing if you'd like as well. The collaboration feature is a premium feature, and the way that you would create collaboration is by clicking up here at the top. You would click on invite, and after you do that, it will give you a code to share, and you can invite others to join using that code, and they could actually collaborate with you on the iPad as well. One of the things that I have noticed is that if you do not have your microphone muted when you do something such as collaboration, sometimes it'll give you feedback if you are in the same room. So that might be something to really experiment with and try to figure out what would be the best way to work with that. So once you're done with your video, you can export it to Google Drive or YouTube, Canvas, or any learning management system, or even export it as a PDF if you would want to do for notes. So the first thing you would do is you would click up at the very top here where it says the little square with the arrow, and you could export if you wanted to upload it as a video, if you wanted to share it as a video slideshow web link. I usually export directly, so when you click on that export tool there, you are going to get a screen that looks like this. And then you could choose whether you want to export it as a video, document, image, or a project. If you export it as a project, it must be open within Explain Everything as well. So I usually always export it as a video, and then it'll give you the option to either upload it to AirDrop or mail it, add it to notes, save the video itself on your iPad. I always export it to my Google Drive folder. And once you click on that, you will get something that looks like this, and then it will actually render and it will begin to upload. And then it'll open up within your Google Drive folder, and you can select what folder you want to put it in and so forth. And then from there, you can go ahead and upload it to YouTube if you'd like. There's also several other ways to upload it. As you could see, if you were to click on the three little dots, it would open up, and you could export it to Google Classroom, Kindle, Mail, all sorts of different things as well. So you're not limited to only Google Drive. That's just what I've found is the easiest to do. The last thing that I have not necessarily shown you yet that I would love to show you is what happens when you insert a browser. So if you were to insert a web page. So from the insert page, I would select browser. And you would notice that a web page would open up where you are allowed to just type in there. And I might type in our website. And with that, we have the website and anything that might be on that website that you wanted to see. You can now browse through that. So this is actually the website. And within the website, you can have videos and you can visit through the website as well. So that's always an interesting feature to be able to add as well to presentation. The only thing that I get concerned about with inserting a browser is that if you do not have Wi-Fi, as is possible, maybe the website will not necessarily record because it will not have access to the website. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now the last step is really for you to think about whether there are any lessons that you have just covered or going to be covering that you would like to try to blend your classroom. You'd like to try to possibly record the video so that your students can access it via your YouTube channel or your web page, your classroom app, so that they can see the videos, and then flip that classroom so that the students are at home watching the videos, so that they have that hands-on, one-on-one scaffolding opportunity with you as the teacher in class after they have learned the video at home. There was an article on Education Week just on November 4th, 2019, just this week, talking about why Generation Z learners prefer YouTube lessons over printed books. And I'm sure any of you who has a teenage child or a Generation Zer will see that most students love YouTube and they're on YouTube all the time. There was a survey released last month of people ages 14 to 23, so that's a big chunk of students that we all teach. And YouTube was the highest preferred learning tool by these Generation Z groupers, and we have 59% picked YouTube as their learning preference. So, I mean, the research shows, and there's lots of research in regards to blended and differentiated flipped classrooms as well as blended environment. And it's really interesting to see that we can actually provide through these tools such as Explain Everything, we can actually be creating these videos that the students are watching at home so that they can work in class with collaboration of other students on independent practice that we as the teachers can scaffold and guide their learning much, much deeper than standing in front of a classroom and lecturing, since most students obviously do not learn better that way. They learn best through the differentiated instruction and the scaffolding that we can provide to them. So consider that next time you are creating a lesson. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions whatsoever. Again, I'm on Twitter at PeelyTaylor333. Please feel free to send me an email versus the Twitter. And also definitely reach out to Explain Everything. I've noticed that they are incredibly helpful. Explain everything without the I. They will give you any information that you may need. And again, this is through the Twitter platform. I hope you've enjoyed this and that you've learned lots to blend or flip your classroom.